extra time, waiting for the acolyte. I am gonna catch that fool. You will think I'm really cool. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I'll do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you. Just watch me, mouse. Just watch me catch you, catch you, catch you. All I wanna do is impress you with my mouse trap. All I wanna do is convince you with my cheese. All I wanna do is be the coolest cat here, but I'll need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed. Oh, but I need some more super breed.
Hello, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. It is November. It is a day in November. What day is it? It is 15. There we go. It's November 15, 2024. Yeah, it's still 2024, but 2025 is around the corner. Good morning. Hopefully everybody is doing well, enjoying the map mega party that's been going on. Sean was bright and early into the chat. Hello. I heard asking if maps can be expanded to 20. Where do we draw the line then? When do we draw the line? I think 10 is a nice fun boost. You know, it's already probably a few too many. You know, but sometimes it's fun just to bend the rules for a short period of time. You know, it makes me think of things like, you know, you're playing a game and you get quad damage and it just lasts a short time and it's a little bit too powerful, but it's fun because it's very time limited. So I think 10's a nice spot for that to land in there. Camel, welcome on in. Any chance for free gilded coins? You're a few short. Well, there are some new ways to get gilded coins as well. So if you check out the latest news post, you can earn some gilded coins, and it's a great time to do that right now as well. The map party going on. You can start a Relic Hunter map to earn some gilded coins. Michelle, welcome on in. Good morning. Andrish, welcome on in. Jeff, good morning. Thanks for the fun events. Can we get a start date for the Great Winter Hunt? So we do have that written down. Actually, we're going to share that in just a little bit. I figured to touch base with Hunters, see what you've been doing with the map mega party. How have Hunters been approaching it? But as well, then when the map party comes to an end, the Advent calendar is just around the corner. And with the Advent calendar, well, next up, of course, is the Great Winter Hunt. Good morning, Peter, to you as well. YX. Hello from Singapore. Well, hello from Canada. Lady Nutsy, good morning with a coffee emoji. You know what, Lady Nutsy, that's a good reminder to take a sip of coffee. Thank you. Making sure we're properly caffeinated on a Friday morning is important. Dallas, howdy to you as well. Julie, all the way from Denmark. Hello. Darko, hello. Scratchin' dude, good morning. It's afternoon here. Well, good afternoon. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Good morning, Iman. Scrib, hey, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. How am I doing? I'm doing a-okay. I'm doing a-okay. A little better with each sip of coffee. That's usually how the morning goes. Been a while. Hope you're well. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, Scrib. Grant, 12 would be nice to have the whole team on a map. You know, that's actually kind of, all right. There's some logic to that suggestion there, Grant. There's a little bit of logic. 20 slots only for rainbow maps. We got to draw the line somewhere, right? If you'd have 20, next up is, well, how about 30? I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a little bit of logic to the 12, though. That's a good point, Grant. YX, what are you surprised about? That the leech cost didn't go down much as expected, even though map slots were doubled, eh? Well, there's a lot of room, you know? It's kind of interesting to see how things play out for sure. Ron, your favorite rule would be Your favorite will be Black Friday sales where all items cost 1 gold for a while, eh? That might be a little bit too far here. I don't know if the shopkeepers of Narnia would be up for that. Isaac, hello. Sorry for bringing the topic here, but are there issues with cherry credits? Yeah, do write in. We are looking into that. Might be some ways that, or might have to do with the way that their servers talk to our servers, but we are actively looking into that. Rud Rude would be. I would love it if the map picture would become available for the background as your screensaver. The image that's behind me here. There are some colorful, delightful backgrounds that the art team puts together. We've often thought, well, wouldn't it be nice? I wish we had just kind of an easy way to share those, I guess, but it's requires a few logistics, I guess. There you go. There you go. I'm at 100 slots would be better. You know, why not the whole game on one map? What do you think would happen? I don't think that would work very well. The interface would probably be a wee bit stretched at that point. Scratch and Dude, you've been enjoying the map mega party. It's been a fun idea. Hope it's not a one-time thing. Well, that's good to hear. That's the type of feedback as well we're looking to gauge. The whole thing was kind of put together in a way that's pretty easy to flip it back on now and then. We were looking, you know, if you recall, we're discussing the Relic Hunter seasonal change, and we're looking for something that kind of captures the fun parts of when the Relic Hunter season changed, but addressed a little bit of the friction there as well, kind of the less fun parts of the Relic Hunter season. And the map mega party was kind of what we came up with when we read between the lines. You know, what's fun? We looked at the Relic Hunter seasons, and we noticed a lot of people, when the season changes, they do a lot of maps for a week or two. And then when the season's about to change, they are doing a whole lot of maps. And our takeaway was there's just something fun about everyone all doing the same thing at the same time, or just kind of making maps the focus for just a short little sprint, if you will. You know, just a couple of weeks where everyone's just hyper focused on maps. So we're thinking, well, what would encourage that? What would create that same feeling without some of the challenges that come with the Relic Hunter season? And the map mega party was born. But we're definitely looking to see what hunters think, to know whether it's a good idea to bring it back in the future. Yeah, YX asking, will it become an annual event? That was somewhat the intention. It could be that November thing. There's a bit of a gap between Halloween and the Great Winter Hunt. Or they're kind of close together, and you just want a little something that's short and sweet. You know, if you're looking for a goal in November, if you don't have something else on the go, it blends in nicely as well. If you are working on other things, well, you know, maps are something that are in pretty much every area as well. So it doesn't kind of take you away from what you're doing. Sean, if you head over to Toronto, could you get a tour of MouseHunt headquarters? Hey, we do work remotely now, so it kind of worked out fairly well for us. So, you know, alas, there's no official headquarters. Aaron, you're too busy for the mega map party. Looking forward to the upcoming winter hunt, though. Let me do you spot some classic consoles in the background. I did move not too long ago, and as I unpack those, put them down there. But, you know, whether they work or not might be a bit of a mystery. But nice to see you, Fleming. Hope you're doing well. Isaac, welcome back. You just picked the game back up for this for the spring egg hunt, the previous spring egg hunt. Well, welcome back. Happy hunting. Gary's definitely +1 for the recurring map parties. That might be a good little transition into getting some feedback on the map mega party. You know, as you might, like I said earlier, you may recall that we were looking at the Relic Hunter season, and it had mixed feedback. It had a lot of positives, and it had, you know, a little bit of negative feedback around it as well. There's some exciting parts and some frustrating parts. And so we tried to look at all that overall at once and, okay, what can we do to capture some of the fun parts of the Relic Hunter season changing while avoiding some of the rough edges? And that, you know, as I said, that was what was the inspiration for the map mega party. Trying to come up with something that's just kind of simple but fun. Has a good reason for a lot of hunters to all be focused on maps at the same time. Like I said, that seemed to be what drove a lot of the fun. It was just, well, you know, I'm not always in the mood for a map, but because this is going on, all my friends are in the mood for mapping. And, you know, because it is something you do with other hunters, it's nice to have something that celebrates them. So you can draw from a larger pool of potential hunters to help you on maps. Hey, maybe make some new friends along the way as well. Jello, it feels weird now that catching one Relic Hunter does not drop enough relics for a Relic Hunter scroll case. We were playing around with that for a little bit, and you know, ultimately we made the Relic Hunter drop more relics. So that also means she's a pretty good way to collect relics, not just to do Relic Hunter maps, but also do area maps. You know, whether it's a fungal cavern map, draconic depths, Town and Anya, wherever you want to be doing a map. So she became a better way to collect relics. If we went all the way up to 10, it seemed like it was maybe a little bit too good. And also, do you remember that the rewards in the Relic Hunter maps? Now, we added the Gilded Scroll, or Gilded Coins, which you can use to get Slayer maps as well. So the Relic Hunter maps are a little bit more rewarding than they used to be. So also they're a little bit harder to start now as well. But, only by a slight margin. By the time you capture 2 Relic Hunters, you should have enough to start your map. So we tried to find a bit of a sweet spot there. If you're asking about kind of leeching, sniping slots, it's kind of been a little bit in the idea bank. No immediate plans. There's a few technical limitations that make it a little bit cumbersome to pull off. Darko, maybe you could explain, can we make the dust rare again? If you can explain what you mean by that. Speaking of maps, there's still plans of introducing riddle-themed maps, similar to when the Bountiful Beanstalk was introduced. I think we kind of saved that a little bit for a potential tool to use, whether it's pre-release or a temporary event. I think that type of thing is fun the first time and tedious the 10th time, if that makes sense. It's better saved as like a bottled quest, or like something you're just going to kind of do as a one-off thing, go through it. It's really fun when everyone's all doing it all at the same time and it has everybody's focus. But I think if it was a permanent fixture, it would sort of lose some of its luster a little bit, and it would start to feel a little bit more of a chore than a fun journey. But that's just my impression anyway. Looking at the stats, indeed. So I'm curious to just hear, what maps have you been focused on with the map party? What have maybe you've been noticing you've been getting some invites to maps that you don't normally get invites to, or if you like to captain your maps, which scroll cases that you've been opening. Just yesterday, which was kind of the first full day of the Treasure Map Mega Party, there were 1,145 maps started, which is quite a few more than normal. It's usually in the hundreds. That said, during an event, it's also rather high. So Halloween, there were a whole lot of maps being opened as well, as you can imagine. The 3 most popular maps by a fair margin as well. I was going to see, well, should I look at top 3, top 5, top 10? But these had probably twice as many as anything that was in 4th place, was the Origin of Dragons, the Elite Chrome Slayer, and the Draconic Depths maps. Those were by far the most popular maps yesterday that at least were started. I forget. I'm trying to remember what was in 4th place. And maybe I should have jotted that down as well. But it was kind of a distant fourth. The difference between number 3 and number 4, it was a big jump. The bar was like twice as big. So those 3 maps seem to be kind of front runners, and at least what's the most popular at the moment. As well as kind of looking at which maps were hunters using the rare map dust on. And what I found kind of interesting as well, the owner dusts the map just over half the time, and then the other half of the time somebody joins the map and dusts it. And that's kind of interesting to think about. I know sometimes when I join a map, I like to be the one that dusts it when I join the map, or when I invite players. I tend to like to dust it before I invite people as well. So it's interesting to kind of see how different styles or different hunters do different things. As well as when the map gets dusted, it seems to be you either do it right at the start. I'm doing this map, it is dusted, I want a rare chest at the end of this. Or a lot of times wait right to the end, which seems a little bit risky if you forget to apply the dust at the end. But often there's just a few mice left, and that seems to be also a 1 in 4 times the map gets dusted toward the end of the map when it's almost done. Map with the most corkboard messages. Yeah, I found that kind of interesting. It's the M1000 Team Research Expedition. Now, they're all fairly close. I think it was close to, on average, there are 10 messages written on a corkboard of an M1000 Team Research Expedition. I think number 2 might have been like 9.5 messages. I think it was close. It may have been an Elite Chrome Slayer, actually. Those are just kind of interesting, kind of trivial stats, I guess. I don't know what insights to glean from them. Scratch and Dude, we also need to remember the good old zombie invasion mini event. Indeed, there's been a few over the years as well. The nice thing, what I think I like about the Mega Map Party, is I think it would withstand the test of time fairly well, because it's applicable no matter what map you're doing, for the most part. There's a couple little exceptions that make sense, but even as new maps are added, if another map Mega Party fired back up, well, hey, it would benefit from those maps as well. Chet asking for the start date of the Great Winter Hunt. I think we'll shift gears into the Advent calendar, the winter hunt as well, in just a few moments. No event has had an extension for a long time. We tend to think about that at the start, but as the years have gone by, kind of dial in some of the event durations. Some are best short and sweet. I think others can kind of last a little bit longer as well. One interesting thing we think about sometimes when it comes to the duration of events as well is the shutdown phases and what have you. Maybe we would like to maybe approach them a little bit differently, but kind of have some technical limitations of exactly how a shop can work and let people exchange out. I know Halloween is one of those events that seems like it goes on for a little bit too long. It gets deep into November sometimes, and the gloomy greenwood is still lingering around a little bit. So, but some of that is just due to how the shutdown phases work. Dargo, there seems to be a lot of rare map dust on the marketplace. It plummeted the price, eh? So wondering if it'll remain like that or become rare again. Well, I guess it's just kind of subject to the whims of supply and demand as well. How many hunters are looking to use rare map dust versus how many hunters are looking to sell their rare map dust. So, Joseph, you started the Draconic Depths yesterday. Had a hard time finding hunters willing to do it versus other maps. That's kind of interesting. The Draconic Depths is a popular one. It seems it was right up there, but maybe people had a lot of Draconic Depths maps still on the go. They're looking to wrap up. That's it. I'm pretty sure this was measuring maps started. I think it was maps started anyway. I don't think it was active maps. It was it gets logged when somebody opens up the scroll case. Let me boot it up to find fourth place. I'm not on my work machine right now, so I don't think I'm even logged in or quite set up. I think the streaming goes a little bit better on a Windows machine. I tend to do work on a Mac. When requesting an invite to a map, it'd be nice to add some short text why the owner should pick me. Yeah, that's a neat idea as well. There's a few limitations. I think some changes or updates to map, like the map system and kind of how we could change how maps work, they may have to be a little bit more long-term ideas. It's interesting to reflect. Mapping it's been around a long time, actually. Just this morning, sometimes we do some brainstorming for trivia, and I was trying to dig in to find some historical records of maps, and there's some interesting commit messages I came across actually too. But it was in 2012, I think, was when that treasure map first system was invented. So as you can imagine, as 12 or nearly 13 years have gone by, it's a little bit like anything, whether it's maintaining a car or a property or a garden. Just its maintenance needs morph and change a little bit as it ages. So we have to be a little bit careful of. So when you're renovating an old building, I think you need to approach it a little bit differently than if it's a newer building, if that makes any sense, if my legacy code analogy can track there. Some people do a round robin in which they dust the map themselves, might have something to do with it. Oh, that might be, although you think it would be skewed a little further then, right? If you're doing a 5-person map, you think then the captain wouldn't be mapping it as much unless you round robin, do you open up the map? Do you take turns opening up the scroll case as well? Scratching Dude, how do you write half a corkboard message? That's the beauty of averages, right? If somebody does something 5 times and somebody else does it 4 times, well, then the average becomes 4.5, right? 5 plus 4 is 9, divided by 2 is 4.5. I think so. We'll see. We're doing math while we're reading the chat. Is a recipe for disaster. Sparrow is doing School of Sorcery maps. I think that was up there as well. School of Sorcery is fairly popular. I think Lightning Maps, actually, come to think of it, there you go. If my memory serves me correctly, I think Lightning Maps were in 4th place. School of Sorcery was up there as well. Ooh, Gary says a suggestion for the next party. Let the captain decide whether you have double the slots or double the chests. That's kind of interesting. That might be a little bit trickier to implement, but if you think about it in one way, if you have twice as many people on the map, you can finish it twice as fast. So in a way, it's kind of like you can get the chests twice as fast, In the same amount of time, you can do twice as many maps, so you can get twice as many chests in the same amount of time, or your chests per day is trending upward with more hunters to help. Ron, you remember the couple extra hunts during the last Lunar New Year event, eh? Maybe just the timing of how things. Remember, events do, a lot of the times they are kind of a manual process. It isn't like they automatically start or end. So, there's always a little bit of leeway. Our mantra is we try to have events not start late and not end early, but they can start early and they can end late. So, don't be too surprised. Sometimes maybe an event starts a little bit earlier than scheduled, or it ends a little bit later than scheduled. May I ask, why was the Dragon Ember Potion not included during the Halloween event? Is it because it is quite new? Yeah, that has something to do with it. It is quite new, and we wanted to make sure it kept kind of its special identity of coming from the Draconic Depths, especially maps. It's one of the main rewards from doing the maps. You can find the Ember Potions fairly regularly as well. So I just wanted to tread a little bit carefully, that it still remained something that had the identity of, well, I get this from the Draconic Depths, not the Gloomy Greenwood. Can be a little bit of a gray area. It's a little subjective, but some items are best kept as their source remains a bit special and unique. But it kind of comes down to just the timing of everything. And like you said, because it is a bit new, didn't want to take the wind out of the sails or take away from some of the fun that they provide as being a reward from the maps, or make the Draconic Depths maps feel a little less rewarding and maybe a little less fun because of it. School, you think the rare map dust, the supply has been increased a little bit. Maybe a little bit, but is that an intentional direction we're moving in? I don't know how intentional or not, but I don't know. I may have to think on that a little bit, School. I don't know off the top of my head. The Origin of Dragons map is now stuck because the middle mice in the EEC. Whoa, you're testing my abbreviation knowledge here. You'd rather have 5 NDE than those 2. You may have to decompile those abbreviations. It gets tricky as I read here to recall those that quickly. Potato, should we expect another major update between the Egg Hunt arrives? You're prepared for an ultimate Egg Master challenge, and you're anticipating the required prep work. Well, we are in event season, right? Halloween kicks things off. We're looking at how the Mega Map Party is unfolding as well. If that could maybe be a nice simple addition to event season. Like I said, November, it's a bit of an awkward month. It's sandwiched between Halloween and the Winter Hunt. There's not a lot of time to do something too significant in there. So then we have the Winter Hunt. Then, of course, Lunar New Year. There's the birthday event, which we've been kind of looking to add a little something to make the factory have a new twist to it. A little something new. But keep the factory around. And then the Egg Hunt closes event season off after the birthday event. So, you can probably expect that to be the rough order of operations here. I think that's the rough plan. I wouldn't think too much else other than those events. The events are a little bit of work to put together. So I would be surprised if we can fit anything else in the event season. It's a busy time. Theta Flux is the 10-slot event going to be reoccurring or just a one-time fun event to celebrate the end of Relic Hunter seasons? The intention was to have it come back. It could be a nice November event to celebrate maps, but subject to feedback as well. So that's kind of what we're interested in seeing. What maps have hunters been working on? How have you been finding the event fun? How would you look forward to it returning again? Barney, you find it strange the Draconic Depth maps are popular. Not even close to as good as the Origin of Dragons. Yeah, they're a little bit more accessible as well, though, right? And so, you can cycle them a little bit faster as well. And so, I assume there's a little bit of correlation between it being a newer area. A lot of hunters maybe have a little bit of unfinished business, some goals they're working on there, and the maps can help with the goals. Is there a refactor plan for legacy mapping code? A little bit, some long-term plans, and that might be a conversation best saved for another day, but they're very long-term plans to kind of overhaul quite a bit of things, so to kind of give a little bit more modern tools to be able to build some more cool, fun stuff as well. Like anything else, as time goes on, everything that gets added to the game, it also needs maintenance. Sometimes I use the analogy of it's like a big locomotive. Every time you add a new car to the train, right, the locomotive is going to need a little bit more power to pull the train. All the brakes on all those cars, you need some mechanics to make sure all the cars being pulled by the train are in good working order. maybe, you got to sand down some rust every once in a while, put on a fresh coat of paint, service the brakes and oil things up, what have you. So as the game gets bigger, it requires a bit more maintenance, and every once in a while maybe you need to reimagine how things work to be able to reduce that maintenance and free up more time to work on other things. YX70th, I had a thought of including a scoreboard for the Mega Map Party, which players completed the most maps. This might be kind of a fun idea as well, kind of plays into the idea of everybody doing the same thing. How many maps can you crush with 9 other people to help you out? Shackwood, will there be a farm to table? I don't think there's any plans to do another farm to table event. I mean, never say never. Sometimes if the timing is just right, it could work out. But if anything, maybe we would do something else that maybe had a similar identity to that, focused on a different area maybe. But the farm to table was a nice kind of, not last hurrah, but as a new area was coming out, there was a lot of kind of goals to kind of wrap up, and kind of a nice little event to help all the hunters move forward together, I guess, was some of the inspiration around the farm to table, and try to find a fun way to do that as a community. Grant, you'd be okay with no content for a year if that gave you the time to do a code update. Well, I think we need to do a little bit of both. Indeed, we're trying our best to kind of find that balance, but it's definitely important to have, some events, have some new areas coming out, and be working on a little bit of maintenance. We're a small team, but we try our best to juggle those 3 very important things. And I think if we neglect any one of those 3 things, it's bad in the long-term overhaul. Overall. So yeah, we have to kind of make sure we pay attention to all 3 of those tracks. Elemental Emmental cheese. That makes sense. That was my guess. I was drawing a blank. I think the more I read, the memory part of your brain starts to shut off. The short-term memory gets fired up as you read, and the long-term starts to get a little bit lazy. It's like, all right, I'm going to take a little break. We'll shift the CPU cycles into the short-term memory. I think that's what happens as you read. Is the queso pump trap finally getting its upgrade modules to make it do something cool in newer areas? Do you have some insider knowledge, Potato, on the future technological breakthroughs that maybe the scientists at Digby have planned for that queso pump traps? No, it just seems like a perfect fit. You're pumping the cheese in the factory. There's another area where there's also cheese pumping technology. Seems like a little bit of overlap. What was the most bought potion during the Halloween event? Oh, I should have checked that. Shouldn't I have checked that, eh? I mean, I don't think I checked that this year to see what the most popular pick was. Are Slayer Scrolls still dropped at the same rate for the new Relic Hunter and Gilded maps? I believe so. Now, we're drawing upon some very specific memories here, but I don't think we lowered that. I don't think we did. I think we just kind of added the Gilded coins as a nice little boost to earning the Slayer Scrolls. Or, if you keep doing Relic Hunter maps, you may not find a Slayer Scroll. So it kind of acts as after you do enough, eventually you have enough Gilded coins. All right, now you can start one for sure. Kind of. But you might also be surprised on that journey along the way as well. Scratching Dude, I think you need a sip of your coffee. I'll take you up on that suggestion. And then maybe we'll, as we sip a warm beverage, start thinking about the chilly season ahead. Of the Great Winter Hunt and the Great Winter Taiga. Is it Taiga? Yeah, Taiga. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. That's a bit of a new word for me as well. I think we learned that. We were looking up geography terms when we're trying to name the region. But before the Great Winter Hunt comes the Nanian Advent Calendar, and that's going to appear when the map party ends. So just kind of on a technical side of things, we're looking to add the Advent Calendar into the game, technically when the map party ends. So we need to update the game when the map party comes to an end. That's going to add the Advent Calendar. The banner will appear then as well. I think that's the plan. So you'll see, hey, coming soon in December, the Advent Calendar. And I think the first day of December is technically a Sunday. It's a Sunday. All right. Well, that'll just roll out at midnight UTC. So that is when the Nanian Day begins. That's when the days of the calendar change. Just kind of a reminder. If it's been a year since you've used the Advent Calendar, it's the same time you can send out new gifts That's kind of when the Nanian Day begins at midnight UTC. That's when you'll be able to open the first door of the calendar. And then every 24 hours after that, you'll be able to access the next door. And as always, a little reminder, if you open the door on the same day which it unlocks, you get a bonus item. So you'll always find an Advent chocolate, but if you open it up on the same day, you also get a bonus item. There's some fun items, we shuffle the deck a little bit every year. Maybe take out something, add something new. There tend to be items like whether it's Wild Tonic, Condensed Creativity, some Super Brie, some Festive Ultimate Luck Charms, that sort of thing. But you'll always find the Advent. Even if you come back on December 30th and you open up all 24 doors, you'll find 24 Advent chocolates. But you have to open up the door on the same day it unlocks to find that bonus. YX, where can we download the MouseHunt wallpaper behind you? Do you mean the digital or the physical here? Maybe, like I said, it would be maybe nice to kind of get some of that uploaded somewhere someday. But it's the type, it's a small project, but we need someone to look after it. And it's sometimes the hard ones too are things that need kind of regular updating and maintenance. Those can be the tricky ones when you're a small team to keep adding, many more small things that need to be continuously updated. But in the Winter Hunt announcement as well, the Winter Hunt is planned to arrive Tuesday, December 10 as well. So that's when we're planning to start off the Great Winter Hunt. If all goes according to plan, sometimes maybe there's a little bit of a setback or change in plans, but that's the tentative date, and it seems like a pretty firm release date candidate as well. So fairly confident it'll be Tuesday, December 10, unless some extenuating circumstance causes us to reschedule. Anders asking about new power types. No immediate plans. I mean, one day, but you still have some wiggle room and some life in the existing power types. Have you updated the Advent calendar so we can now eat the chocolates? I mean, maybe. That might be a fun. But no, as usual, you can buy trap skins from the Winter Hunt Trapsmith. Technically, I guess there's 3 of them, or it could be the same Trapsmiths with 3 locations. I don't quite know what the canon there is, but the Trapsmith at all 3 of the Winter Hunt locations sell trap skins. That's what you can spend your Advent chocolates on. And I believe, what else can you get? Can you get charms, or is it the floating reindeer crates? I forget. There's another kind of consumable use for the chocolates. It's eluding me at this moment. But I think as well you can spend excess chocolates on something consumable in case you have collected all of the trap skins. You can find Advent chocolates as well by doing the nice and the naughty maps during the Winter Hunt, which I noticed a few very optimizing hunters here have already opened up their naughty lists during the mega party to get 10 slots filled, which seems like quite a planning ahead kind of idea just to get that first map to go a little bit quicker. That's a bit of a clever strategy, but remember, you'll have to fill the map. So when the map party comes to an end on November 27, nobody gets removed from the map. But any empty slots that exceed the normal limit, they're gone after that. So if it's a map right now and you can fit 10 people, and you have 8 people on the map as of November 27, it'll just be 8 out of 8. It won't be 8 out of 10 anymore. Nobody gets removed, but the vacant slots are no longer let to invite extra people to the map. Lazy Gamer, the School of Sorcery Draconic Depths guaranteed in the Winter Hunt? If so, what's the drop rate of the Mythical Heart? I think you'll have to wait and see. I don't know. We'll have to see what those golems have in store. But yeah, of course, there's I don't think there's ever been a time that there was an area exempt from the golems. You can send them to the School of Sorcery and to the Draconic Depths. I mean, can you put 12 ultimate charms and 12 bait keep charms in the calendar? I don't think so. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see what's behind the door. That would seem like that might be quite the big treat to fit into a calendar. Summer can't wait for the rest of the Great Winter Hunt. You've been looking forward to it this year now that you have some more areas unlocked. Yeah, that's good to know as well. The Winter Hunt, you can send golems to go and collect loot from any area that you have unlocked. So you want to make sure you have the map piece, and you need the title requirement for it as well. So you want to make sure, maybe you can prioritize unlocking some map pieces, prioritize working your rank, your hunter's title up a little bit as well, depending on where you want to send your golems. New power. Why don't you revive an old one? The parental power type. It will be retired at some point, but yeah, it does not have too much purpose. The law power type is still underused. Yeah, it could still flesh out some law areas as well. We have some new areas cooking as well. So as you can imagine, they might use some different power types. Grappler pre-filling trick maps is kind of... That's planning a very far out in the head. I don't know if you'd want to monopolize your event maps all the way for Halloween, unless you mean the nice and the naughty maps. If you do have one of those in your inventory, you can open one up, and if you invite 9 of your friends to the map, all 10 of you will still be on the map when the winter hunt rolls around. If you really want to get that first naughty map finished quickly, keep in mind the naughty maps typically have the Frost King on them. I don't know why I said typically. They have the Frost King on them, so you are going to need to be ready to break the Ice Shield and get to the Frost King. I don't know, some hunters might like to do a nice map and then start doing the naughty maps, but ultimately a decision up to you. Tactical Axe, a Chrome Trap. There's the Chrome Sphinx. I don't know if that's a top tier trap that you're picking, depending where you are in the game, but it's still useful at some areas of the game. Any update on the progress of the finale area of the Folklore Forest? Slowly chipping away at it, a few ideas, a little bit of prototyping's been going on. Right now, some of our efforts are focused on the winter hunt, just kind of getting that all good to go, as well as the birthday event, adding just kind of a new little spice to the same version of the event, but with just a little something new added on top. And that's kind of where most of our attention is going right now, as well as Lunar New Year. We're getting that up and going. That's a little bit more routine, though, because it's very similar to last year. So a little less work to do there. So we're kind of spread out between the winter hunts, a fairly big project, and the birthday is a little bit of a larger project. But all the same, kind of in parallel, trying to make some headway on the Folklore Forest finale as well. Or the final area within that storyline. Sometimes players get a little bit confused thinking we're going to end the game in that area, and that is not the plan. Even years ago, I remember Dracano was meant to be the very last area in the game. There was twice, I think, we kind of were having this thought. One, when the game was originally released, we thought the mouse death bot would be, okay, I don't know, maybe a couple players managed to get the death bot, and, good for you. You went above and beyond. Wow, you really played this game a lot, didn't you? And that changed. That goalpost definitely changed. When we kind of realized, well, the game can be expanded far beyond the death bot. And then we were wondering, is anyone actually going to make it all the way to the Tribal Isles? That's a lot of hunting. You got to play the game for a while. Does it have that many hours of gameplay before maybe you get a little bit bored and you want to play a different game? We were thinking the dragon would be kind of the finale, even kind of explaining some of the epic, very roundabout ways you go about making that Ice Maiden trap and tying with the Acolyte. And that did not seem to be the case either. So now we kind of approach things as well. There is no final stage of the game. Something always comes after the next, but that was many, many years ago. The best Chrome trap is the glue one. That's a good one. That one always kind of puts a smile on the face when you pull it out of the inventory and arm it. Will the Advent calendar include gifts such as Ultimate Charm, Condensed Creativity? No, I don't. Never say never. You never know what you're going to find in the Advent calendar. But going off of the type of items you find in your past, I don't think Caloringus' rib is going to be in the Advent calendar. That might be wishing for a little bit much this holiday season. Any plans for a festive aura for future Great Winter Hunt events? Kind of same as you can expect as it worked last year as well. So, the festive aura will be making a return, and you can extend it to the spring equinox, right? Is that right? Is it the spring equinox? Yeah. Or is it the solstice? No, solstice is in the winter. The equinox is the beginning of spring. Is the equinox the longest day of the year? And the solstice is the shortest? I don't know. That sounds like a job for Google. Mark, hearing that after playing for 15 years. Well, exactly. Yeah, Nid, exactly. The zombie mouse was one of the first boss and could drop ancient relics retroactively. And that was kind of the big bad mouse that was hard for the sake of hard. I can remember many hunters kind of complaining, why is this mouse so hard? This is too hard. Look how far we've come. Scratching Dude has you've literally been playing this game half my life now. Eh? When will I reach that moment? That's kind of fun to roadmap out a little bit. Let me see. We'll turn 17, 40, 41, 18. I don't know. I'm not doing that right now. That requires more caffeine. Schoolwork, you're hoping the Great Winter Hunt doesn't give too many rewards for the Draconic Depths, eh? Still a new area, doesn't need too much compression after already getting a huge boost from the Origin of Dragons map. Yeah, you know, as always, everything's kind of a little bit of unique coming down to the gameplay of the area and how things work. Michelle, that zombie owes you a load of relics, that, eh? Nid's starting trouble. The Frost King's rib instead of Calhar's rib, eh? It have nothing to do with it. I don't know what you would do with it. Solstice is summer and winter. Alrighty, the equinox is equal. Is that when the day and the night is equal? Because Fleming, then I think I can remember that now. That seems to have a ring to it. Well, then, what else are we looking at? Today's trivia question is, was it Winter Hunt related? Yes, it was Winter Hunt related. We're looking at Advent chocolates. We're looking at the Winter Hunt. And what you can do with those Advent chocolates is you can buy trap skins from the trap smith or smiths within the Winter Taiga. Well, just how many trap skins are for sale if you visit any one of the trap smith locations in the Winter Taiga? What do you think that total has risen to? Now, we're looking at Winter Hunt trap skins specifically sold in the Winter Taiga for Advent chocolates. How many unique trap skins can you buy with your Advent chocolates? Is it 67 again? I don't think so. I had a bit of a chuckle. I had to erase that trivia question where the answer was 67. Many weeks ago, Darko, honorable mention for saying more than one. That is correct. Jello, I think a lot. You're in the ballpark. Fleming is so close. If we're doing hot and cold, it's just... the alarm is just blazing, all right? It's 5-alarm chili hot, Fleming. Soul is, you're in the area, you're a little colder than Fleming was. There we go. Swift. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. It is indeed. I think Swift was the first person to get the answer correct. 41 trap skins and soon to be more. As usual, the inventory gets updated with last year's trap skins get added to the trap smith for sale with, or for chocolates. I'll put this link in the chat as well, so you can click to your heart's content. Oh, my computer is slowing down. The CPU cycles are many. But yes, Swift is correct. 41 trap skins are for sale. So if you have Advent chocolates, you can pick from 41 different trap skins to purchase. That is, I think that qualifies as a lot. That's a lot of trap skins. I know every year it's even hard. It's getting a little bit trickier to manage all these trap skins because there sure are a lot every year that the Winter Hunt comes around. I think even as the years have gone by, we've had different methods and tools to keep tabs on all of them. It just seems like one of them is going to, get swept under the rug or be forgotten about. It's inevitable. And if we added 26 skins, how many would there be? There you go, 67. We can make the answer 67 if we put our hearts and our minds to it. Why don't other events have last year's skins on sale in the Trapsmith? It's something we've had a bit mixed feedback on, a little bit here and there. If I can even recall last year's Winter Hunt, I think that was one of the feedback questions, kind of seeing, what do you think about that order of operations? And so, I don't know, I think maybe as a compromise, we've kind of kept some events work one way, some events work the other way. I kind of empathize as well, players who get the skin pack last year kind of feeling like, well, I feel kind of like a little bit of buyer's remorse, or there's a little bit of friction around kind of changing the method in which you acquire something. I think I can empathize there and see where you're coming from. It's something that we've done for years as well, so I can see both sides of the argument. So I don't know, maybe the compromise is some events work one way, some events work the other way. Do we have an end date or Lunar New Year start date? Nathan just wanting to find those calendars, digging them up. No, I think next Feedback Friday, it'll probably be Jacob, and then the week after that, I'll be back. Let me see. Do I look at this calendar? Hold on, let me go back here. Let me look at these dates. So the winter hunt is set to start on the 10th, eh? That's what we're looking for here. So I'd be around on the 29th. So there would be one before the 6th. I think we'll look at the winter hunt a little bit closer, either on November 29 or December 6, depending on the order of operations between Jacob and myself. So we'll probably look at some different dates. Maybe we can even look a little bit ahead to Lunar New Year, but we'll see. I might be getting the extended forecast. Might be a little too extended there. We are adding a few new things to the winter hunt. Not so much gameplay wise, but some new interface updates. We can take a look at those. I think when the map party is done and the winter hunt is kind of the next thing on the horizon. But a schedule of view. We have the advent calendar, but a different type of calendar that shows you when the event starts, when it ends, when the New Year's phase begins. Maybe if there's an animated snowstorm in the forecast, get that scheduled out. And maybe even just a new little thing to explore a few times during the event as well. But, there's a lot going on in the winter hunt. There's a few different important dates to keep in mind. And we tend to put those in the news post. And we thought, well, a better way to visualize that as a calendar. Right? And you can that way you can see when the event starts, when it ends, when the different phases unlock, when the New Year's and all that good stuff. As well, we had a few other ideas that we didn't quite have time to get to, but one thing we did have time to get to was the ability to preview what a golem might find without having to send the golem there, if that makes sense. It looks very familiar. We're looking at maps. You can preview what's inside of a treasure chest. It looks very similar to that. So you can see, hey, if I were to send a golem to the floating islands, what can it bring back in the standard slot? What could it potentially bring back in the hat slot? And what could it potentially bring back in the scarf slot? So that may also help make a decision about where you want to send your golem before you send one out. You can't wait for the Great Winter Hunt. Excited to build some golems and complete maps. Thank you for the nice event, Dave and team. Glad to hear you've been enjoying it. And yeah, let us know what you think as well. Anecdotally, we've seen to be positive feedback around the treasure map mega party. Been keeping our ear to the ground in a few different spots, and seems like there's a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, and hunters are having fun. But by all means, we tend to lurk in the background, keep our ear to the ground, like I said, whether it's the fan page, a few different Facebook groups, the Discord server, etc. Feedback Friday, there's lots of different avenues. We're just kind of lurking in the background, seeing what the sentiments and feedback are like. So keep letting us know what you think of the treasure map mega party. Even, we look at things like how many maps are being done, how many people are participating in the event versus how many people are sitting out. And yeah, as next year rolls around, that helps make a decision. Well, is this something we want to routinely do? So we're looking for gauging that enthusiasm and what hunters think of it. Listen, NES and a PS1, how nostalgic. I'm sure, like anyone who's had a few consoles, you just can't bring yourself to get rid of them, right? That would just be, you can't. You've logged too many hours. They're friends at that point. You got to keep them around. Jedi, that preview is really helpful. You won't have to check the Excel sheet on your second monitor. Well, different ways of looking at things can be useful sometimes as well. So I'd imagine a big spreadsheet might also be a nice way. You can search it. You can look at all the information in front of you all at once if you want to look at it that way. And like I said, as the winter hunt gets a little bit closer, and plus we're still wrapping up, putting a little bit of polish and finishing up some loose ends, testing everything. So it's probably not quite ready to demo or share the final way it looks right now. But I think maybe next time I do Feedback Friday, we can take a look at the winter hunt. I can show the calendar too, because then the dates will probably be a little bit more firmed up, and we can share maybe some of the new little twists or some new little phases of the winter hunt to look forward to. They'll be on that calendar view as well, so we can kind of see the calendar together as well, and that'll show when it starts and when it ends in the shutdown phase. All those dates that hunters tend to be a little bit curious about. We can take a look at those before the event starts. Scratching, dude. No, I don't think I'll collect that many. That's a bit too challenging for me. Dallas, you're already planning all golems going to the draconic depths, eh? I think I'm going to send quite a few there as well. But as always, I like to send a few to the Living Garden as well. I can't resist. Iman, what was my favorite PS1 game, eh? Oh boy. I haven't booted it up in a while. I'm trying to think, what did I log the most hours on? Probably some variant of Crash Bandicoot probably would have the most hours for me. Probably the second one. Played the first one quite a bit, but I remember the second one, you could save your game without having to punch in a code to resume. You know, I remember I had a notebook and I kept writing down the save code. Because, you know, you didn't have smartphones either to take a picture of stuff to remember it for later. You had to write it down, you know, access to a digital camera. I don't think that was very prevalent or ubiquitous quite yet. So that was a bit of a challenge. I remember then you could use your memory card to save your game and resume it. So I'm going to say probably Crash Bandicoot. Better not let hunters practically skip the 3-month-old area. You know, schoolwork, it's something that, you know, I know where you're coming from. We empathize there. I understand the sentiment as well. And that's something we definitely keep in mind while we're putting together the golems. Kind of a little bit of food for thought is we kind of think of each golem as, okay, the golem goes out for 25 hunts. How much loot can you collect in 25 hunts in that area? And that's roughly what a golem can find. So if I can just oversimplify things by just making up some numbers. Let's say you go to the lagoon and you can find, there was only one mouse there and it has a 100% catch rate and it always drops 1 scrap metal. We're just making the math nice and easy. In 25 hunts, you can find 25 scrap metal. So one golem, when you send it out for 25 hunts, it comes and it came back on average, we would design it so it would bring back 25 scrap metal. You know, again, like there's a gray area and subjectivity here, and you know, add a little bit of spice for fun. Some areas a little bit better than others, etc. Right? Like it's not a hard rule, but it's a guideline. It's a guideline. So if you have 2 golems going out, it's kind of like a double loot event, and if you have 3 golems going out, it's kind of like a triple loot event. And then kind of tempering it with obviously you need to be collecting a little bit of cheese, and there's times maybe you run out of golem parts, etc. So you know, it's kind of food for thought. That's how we kind of have a few checks and balances, or a rough guideline where it doesn't quite, you know, propel you that far. Remember, you spend 4 weeks at the Great Winter Hunt typically. You know, it's a bit of a long event. If you spent all that time in the Draconic Depths, you would also make a big chunk of progress in the depths. So that's kind of how we approach the golems. So they you know, most people go about 2, maybe 3 times faster, but somewhere in between those two. Nid, Crash Team Racing. I was going to do a scavenger hunt. I can't find it. There's a copy there. And you know what? Actually, just opening that up and looking at PlayStation games for a second made me realize Twisted Metal also had probably more hours than Crash Bandicoot. All right? You have a very special place in my heart, Crash. But I think Twisted Metal probably had a few more hours, actually, looking at that. Games with codes, icons, and knowing much easier to write numbers and letters. So yeah, I think you had a triangle, square, circle, X to resume your game. But huge collection of Jackie Chan games, and it's not Jackie Chan, Ed. No, the cupboard is not closed completely. Uh-oh, the ghosts are coming out. Watch out, YX. Yeah, we can't allow that. There we go. I'll snap that back shut. Are you adding tower circuits as loot in the Valor Rift? So again, a bit of a guideline, but not a rule. You know, we kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. I should wrap up in a minute. Typically, the golems don't often, again, it's a guideline, not a rule. They don't typically come back with something that's needed for incremental progression, unlocking upgrades, making sort of important milestone goals. Sometimes they come back with the reward item, depending on the area, and it's kind of like a jackpot fun surprise as you found the reward. But they typically don't come back with things that just like canonically you earn yourself because you make yourself better in the area. And so, secrets and sigils, you unlock tower upgrades, similar Nobel prizes. Do the golems come back with Nobel prizes? I don't think they come back with Nobel. No, crop coins and pond pennies. They don't come back with those as well. So you still go through the area and you unlock those upgrades yourself. But anyway, that's kind of the rough kind of guideline we use when we're putting those together. But like I said, we'll do a Winter Hunt Feedback Friday. I think next time I join you, we can do a little bit of a deep dive. We'll keep some spreadsheets open, and we'll see what trivia-like questions come up in chat. Sounds like a fun time. Anders, do I have modern consoles? You know what? I think I play games on the computer a little bit more now than consoles. I'm trying to... Probably a Wii U, I think, is my most modern console. Yeah, that's about as modern as we're getting. But alas, we'll maybe stick to playing a little bit more about MouseHunt as a game, I guess. Edison, sending all 3 golems to the same location really speeds up the progress of location and obtain loot. There's lots of hunting. Yeah, again, everyone's mileage may vary, but like I said, kind of the measuring stick we use is the number of hunts you spend in the area, how much loot would you earn, versus the number of hunts in the area of 1 golem. So you tend to go 2 or 3 times faster. But again, your mileage may vary. It might get kind of lucky. Some of the way the golems are set up, some of them kind of have nice little surprise jackpots as well. That saves you a whole lot of time. And others aren't like that, and they're a little bit more predictable. But I think we should wrap up. We're getting a little bit off the topic of MouseHunt, and it has been slowly ticking towards an hour here. Hunters, thank you for joining me. I got to sound my horn. We'll get in one more horn sound. I had a bit of a blunder. I finished an elemental run, and I'm out of poison cheese, and I got to do a poison run here. Here we go. I have enough to make a little bit of poison cheese. Beautiful. All right, I got 4 pieces now. I think that's enough. I can get established, get my economy back going up. Hunters, thank you for joining me. I think it'll most likely be Jacob joining you next week, tentatively. I think that's probably the plan. And then next time you see me, we can get into the Winter Hunt a little bit as well. We'll prep some different things there. I'll grab some screenshots of what to expect in the Winter Hunt. Can look at the start and the end date. But for now, tentatively, you can look forward to the Advent calendar is going to arrive when the Mega Map party comes to an end on the 27th. Quick little reminder as well, if you have a map on the go, no one gets removed from the map, but any empty slots beyond its normal limits, those will be disabled. So as the end of the event approaches, you definitely want to start sending out invites, and maybe finish the event on a full map type idea. You'll be able to unlock that first door of the Advent calendar December 1st as always, and you can look forward to tentatively the Winter Hunt beginning on Tuesday, December 10. Thanks for joining me, Hunters. Have a fantastic weekend and happy hunting.
You're a trap, don't seem to mind it. You attract me. I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry. Oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap.
All right, just for fun. Just for Nid, actually. All right, Nid? Just warm, fuzzy feelings happened here, all right? We were able to find Crash Team Racing. And would you know it, all right, when I open this up, all right? There's no disc in the case. Nid, there's no disc in the case. Now, where might the disc be? I solved the mystery. It was the last thing played on this console was Crash Team Racing. All right, you've got good taste, Nid. There's a rattle inside of there. I don't know if this thing would start up. Just out of curiosity. Hold on, let's see here. See what else is going to happen. Sonic Adventure was the last thing played in this. When you're done playing a game, do you take it out of the console and put it back? Or is this just madness that it gets left in? Yeah, that's to be expected here. This is a most cherished. That probably has, I don't know, if you logged hours, there'd be a few. But just for you, Ned. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
You're a trap, don't seem to mind it. You attract me, I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry, oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. And just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out